Lovely people, a pleasant afternoon to you. Now, lovely people, I saw a video today that was quite disturbing, to be honest. So there is a church, is it Water Lane in St. James is the name of the district or the community that is in St. James, and the parish St. James, for those who may not necessarily be Jamaican. And they were having the church service. I'm listening to the pastor. He's in his preaching element. And then suddenly heard shots. And they had some people kind of ducking and hiding, and some pleading the blood and whatever it is that they're doing. Different people responding differently in the church. All right. So apparently there was a lady selling, or woman selling books on the outside. You know, sometimes people will be marketing probably a book that if maybe the preacher is the one who has written the book, or somebody else, or they're just selling, books for fundraising, for a fundraiser, whatever it may be, whatever church benefit. And a man came up and fired shots at her, and she went to the hospital, and according to is it superintendent or senior superintendent, I need to check, of the St. James's division, Aaron Samuels, said she was pronounced dead. So right at the church, the woman died like a dog. The woman died like a mangy dog, like a dog filled with mange. She died badly and disrespectfully. And one of the things that people may not understand is this. I don't care whatever beef. Let us take it to that realm. That let us say there is some kind of issue that she may have had with the individual. Hypothetically, she knows the individual. And this is just a hypothesis, to say that, a theory to say, let's just say she knew the individual. We're going to take it to the worst case scenario. That she knew the individual, and she decided, she probably had some issues, and, and the person decided to come and take revenge because something that should have been done was not done, or something that was done should not have been done. We're going to say that. We're not going to say it's drive-by, although that can be, or walk by or ride by, whatever you want to call it. We're not going to say it is. So we're going to say, for example, she may have known the individual. Because sometimes people will come and say, we don't know the situation, which is true. I don't care what the situation is. This is predominantly my concern. The paramount thing is that people have no respect for God. And a little below that, people have no respect for human life. Now, I've often told people that when I hear of murders and killings and all of that, sometimes I'm not quick to judge. But based on this particular situation, I'm going to make a judgment call. And my judgment call maybe is on the basis of maybe somewhat of an intuition, probably. Maybe using the laws of induction, just looking at the entire situation and just observing the space, the geography, looking at everything. And I realize that people have no respect, no regard. They dishonor God. Back in the days, men used to be so in respect and reverence. They revered God so much that when they're passing, I was told that if they had on hats, just passing the church, they would take the hats off in honor of God. In honor of God. And I don't get the symbolism with the hat. I don't get it, because I'm just thinking, what can be disrespectful of a male wearing hats? I don't get it, I don't get the etymology behind it. I really don't. But the point that I'm making is that they were so in awe and in reverence of God that they took their hats off when they were passing churches. Now listen, the church let us say the church had 500 people, and 500 of them are hypocrites, parasite, and wicked. It doesn't matter. If Christ is preached, if they're preaching if they're preaching the Bible, even if they're not living it, God allows them sometimes because it may reach to somebody else, helps them to transform their lives and to be a better human being. So God will allow them on that basis since they're preaching Christ. And they themselves one day can probably be transformed. So you get me? So the church still is a representation of God. So even if they had 500 people and the 500 of them were wicked and evil, Jezebel, Delilah, Tales from the Crypt kind of people, the fact that this place is still a symbolism of God and his people and his love for the church, that man should never have done what he did. It is like somebody going into church and stealing from church. I've often said they're really stealing from themselves. They're not robbing God. You can't rob God. You can't. So when that question was posed as it relates to Malachi, will a man rob God? It's not really a question, you know. It is making a statement basically. If you really deduce it, you can't rob God. You cannot rob God. You're robbing yourselves. And people have no respect. They have no regard for God and for sacred things. So I don't care whatever beef, if there is a beef. Let us look at the lesser situation or the least. It's a walk by, drive by, ride by. And she was just an unfortunate bystander who just got shot. The devil decided to use that person to just shoot at the church, at its hallway, doorway and whatnot. And the woman out there, unfortunately, and she met her demise. Died like a dog. Died like a dog. Because they have no respect for God and they have no respect for life. The people have them gone to the dogs. And one of the things that they don't understand is that you live, you know, the scripture says you live by the sword, you die by it. So let's juxtapose it. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. You see a church service going on, and I couldn't care less if the pastor fake, false, superficial, unreal. I couldn't care less. For the fact that this space is a representation of God himself. Because as far as I know, it's not Satan they're worshipping publicly. I don't know what they do privately, but we're talking about a public declaration. Right? And you, gunman, saw it fit to pass this representation of God's space and place and decide to shoot at the woman. And based on how it sounded as if it was a personal thing, like a personal vendetta, like a kind of a revenge. Maybe something she said she shouldn't have. Maybe something she did that she should not have done. Or maybe something that she should have done that she did not do. As opposed to a sort of a drive-by, ride-by, walk-by situation, shooting. People have no respect and no regard for God. And God is going to one day cause people to respect and to revere him. Do not be deceived. God can never be mocked. Whatever a man sows, man or woman, that he or she will reap. That's utter evil and utter wickedness. And obviously the judgment of God is upon that man, because he will not get away. You don't fast with God's people and feel say you're going to get away. I don't care if them fake or them false. We say the whole of them in there could a hypocrite and parasite little more. Make God deal with them and judge them himself. It is almost like when they say when you're correcting a pastor, you have to do it gently, respectfully. Because he's like a representation of God. Even if he's fake and he's false. May God help some of you people who don't have no respect whatsoever. And all on just call judgment upon yourself and upon the lives of no picking them. May God help you. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lines and you can follow me on Instagram.